The Ravens have reportedly made a contract offer to Odell Beckham Jr. after meeting with him during owners' meetings last week. Terms not disclosed, but let's not forget an earlier report in the week said OBJ was seeking a one-year, $15 million deal. Shannon, how could this impact Lamar Jackson?
None, because they didn't offer Lamar Jackson a contract. You want to impact Lamar Jackson? Offer him $200 million guaranteed, Skip. That's how you impact Lamar Jackson. The question is, how much of this money is real? How much is it incentivized? If I'm OBJ, why the hell am I going to sign with Baltimore and they hadn't and Lamar isn't under contract? So what happens? I sign there and then Lamar Jackson doesn't sign back. Then what?
Well, he has at this point two choices. He can either play under the $32 million tag, or he can go home, right?
Or who knows? The Ravens might end up saying, you know what? We can't get 2 firsts. We'll trade him for a first and a third, and we'll keep it moving. But then still, Odell wants to go somewhere with a quarterback that's proven, that's going to give him an opportunity to catch the football. Lamar Jackson's not there. Look, there's no knock or disrespect on the backup, but he ain't Lamar. He's not.
No.
And I'm not sure Odell wants to play with him. I mean, I don't know how much choice Odell has. I'm sure he has his pick of where he could choose to go. You know, obviously the Jets are still in play. Who knows? The Rams still hold him in very high regard. But the question mark remains the money. How much of it is real? If he wants $15 million, how much of that $15 million is going to be real, or how much is going to be incentivized to get to the $15 million number, Skip? So that's where I am with this. I don't really think that Odell going to Baltimore changes anything in Lamar Jackson's mind. That just means they got less money to give Lamar. That's how Lamar's looking at it. Yep. Lamar say, oh, y'all got money to come up and give him. Y'all got money to give this. But they really haven't signed a whole lot of people in free agency.
They have not.
Maybe they're like, okay, trying to position themselves, see how this thing shapes up. The draft is, 3 weeks away? Some movement still can happen. I think as we get closer to the draft, Skip, that's kind of like when the trade, like, okay, this is what you want. Okay. Because I think for Lamar, at some point in time, Skip, he's going to have to say, hey, would y'all be willing to take a first and a third? And he's going to have to get on the phone with somebody. I don't know if he can do it, Skip. Maybe he just hired and said, look here, man, I'm going to pay you by the hour. You're not getting no 3%. I'm going to pay you by the hour.
You could do that.
Make a few phone calls.
Yep.
And see if they're willing to take a first and a third.
It's going to have to be somebody who is board certified by the NFLPA.
Yes. I'm not so sure a whole lot of like proven guys that would be willing to go this route.
Yeah.
You know, we got David Muguleta and Jason Fletcher, and they have a few guys. Dak's agent, I forget his name. Todd France. Todd France. And you got Tom Connor. You got some guys. Now, I don't know if they're going to they work on an hourly basis. That's normally not how they work.
No.
But I'm sure you can find someone that is board certified that would be willing to work on an hourly rate. You're going to need them to possibly call some people and say, hey, Baltimore, if we can get you a first and a third, would you be willing to accept a first and a third? And maybe your guy, you take their fifth, they get you a fourth the next year, something like that. Or, you know, they swap you a fourth and they take your fifth, something to that nature instead of 2 1s. Because the issue is, Skip, okay, the 2 1s is one thing. Skip, now I got to dig back in my back pocket and come up with $200+ million guaranteed more.
Okay. By the way, Drew Rosenhaus might do an unconventional deal.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that because he's a very unconventional agent.
We're about to talk about his next new client, and Jalen Carter. We're going to talk about him in a couple here. All right. Before I launch on this, I'm going to repeat what I believe. I believe any team out there that needs a quarterback or even thinks it has a quarterback but isn't sure, this is just me. 2 firsts and $200+ million guaranteed is a small price to pay for Lamar Jackson. He's a proven MVP. He's a proven playoff game winner. He is a classic baller. He's a classic competitor. He's a dart thrower who can beat you with his arm from the pocket or his legs out of the pocket. He's all of that, all rolled into one. I can't get out of my mind the game he played against Brady down in Tampa on Thursday night. He just took the whole game over. And yet he was a very unhappy camper the whole year because he felt like Baltimore had wronged him because they had wronged him. Okay, so that's just me, that You seem to think the other way, like that's a steep price. To me, he would be worth his weight in gold, and that would be gold. But that's just me, because it's a quarterback's game, and he's a proven big-time quarterback.
But what did they say, Skip? Once you start paying these quarterbacks this kind of money, you limit what you can place around him. That's why you try to get the guy to go all out when he's on his rookie contract. Okay, if I give $200 million guaranteed and I give up the first-round picks, how do I put pieces around Lamar to make sure we're able to compete?
That's your next problem, but you've solved you solved your biggest problem, because these quarterbacks are just hard to find.
Right.
Even the kids you're going to draft, they're bustable. They're all four of those top quarterbacks. I love Bryce Young, but listen, the other three, I don't know. We could be sitting here 3 years from now saying, boy, I don't know.
Right.
It just didn't work out.
And I read a report that Indy say they would rather have Will Levis if they move up, I think 4.
Yeah.
As opposed to trading 2 number 1s to take Lamar. And I think that's
insanity to me.
And I think a lot of teams feel this way. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think, Skip, a lot of teams says, okay, let's take the young guy, rookie contract. We can put enough pieces around him.
Okay. That's what you call penny wise, pound foolish. All right. Now, back to the dire situation that Lamar finds himself in, because to your point, it's looking more and more like the league is saying no to Lamar.
Right.
It smells more and more like there's some collusion operating, exclusive tag on him, which means they owe him, instead of $45 million for the exclusive, it's only $32 million for the non-exclusive. So I think we know Lamar is a proud young man. He's got a strong football and life backbone, to the point that you want to talk about an unhappy camper. If you force him to come back at just $32 million, even though by most of our standards, $32 million is a lot of money, by he's earned far more than that, and he knows that in his heart of hearts. So his heart is a little broken by the Ravens because they have done him wrong. Okay, so now they face the issue of, God, what if he has to come back here with sort of helmet in hand, like drag himself back in here? Okay, you got me, I'll play. Well, now you try to make him as happy as you can make him, which to me, Odell was a little bit of a PR move for them, because Odell has mystique. He still has it. You're a little doubtful. I'm a little doubtful about exactly what he's got left after 2 ACL reconstructions. And we saw the video of him running. He looked like he'd put on a little weight. It looked like muscle weight, but he didn't look like he had quite the burst he used to have, because nobody does when you hit 30 and you've had the surgeries that he's had. So is he a bit of a risk? Yes. Did Jerry Jones fall in love with Odell down the stretch last year as that missing ingredient, that good luck charm to a potential Super Bowl team? Yes, he did. So the mystique of Odell remains at such a high level that I think they would try to sell to Lamar, well, we went and got Odell for you, right? Now, whether Odell will accept his deal is a whole nother issue, because he has another guy very interested in him who has a soft spot in his heart for him, and that guy's Aaron Rodgers, and we think he's going to be the Jets quarterback. So why wouldn't Odell want to catch footballs from Aaron Rodgers in New York with a better football team?
Well, I think all things being equal, I think he probably would. No matter what you think of Aaron Rodgers, he's a better thrower of the football
I give you that.
Than Lamar. It is what it is.
And that's no disrespect.
There's no disrespect to Lamar, but let's just be, it's factual that he's a better thrower of the football.
I got you.
And so that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, how much did they offer Odell? How much of it is real? How much is it incentivized?
This is a lot of make good.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it is.
Yeah, of course. And what are the other situations? I mean, obviously you say the Jets are still in it because he was on Aaron's wish list.
Yep.
Are the Cowboys still interested? It seems like they wouldn't be, because they went out and got Brandon Cooks for a 5th-round pick.
I'm going to think they've moved on.
Right. Yep. Okay. The Rams, are they interested?
Maybe.
But at what price?
Yeah.
I don't see them going to $15 million. And then obviously we have the Ravens.
Okay. So there's such a PR game being played between Lamar and the Ravens, and he's losing it because he's up against a force, because they've been doing it a lot longer than he's been doing
the moment they leaked that we offered $133 million for 3 years, They're like, Lamar, you turned down that? At the beginning of the season, that's $41, $42 million a year. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
You know? Well, I think that's $44 million a year.
Yeah, 44.
$44 million a year.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't even need an agent. So once they started leaking information, people like, man, I ain't feeling sorry for a guy that turned down $44 million a year.
Okay, I got it. But their best case scenario is to have him back happy at $32 million, right? Wouldn't that be a win for the Ravens?
But no, he ain't gonna be happy with $32 million. Okay. He ain't gonna be happy with that. Like I said, Skip, I was like, look, we can dress it up. We're gonna offer you 6 years, a $300 million contract, 160 the first 3 years, fully guaranteed. That's all we got for you, Lamar. We're not going 5 years. We're not guaranteeing the entirety of the contract. So we'll do 3 years at $160 million. It's a 6-year deal worth $300 million.
If I were advising this young man, I would say do it.
Absolutely.
And don't look back and go full speed ahead and throw your heart and soul back into it.
Right.
Because you're young enough, you could still get...
You could be at the table again at 29.
You could. And you'd be good.
Right.
Okay.
That's what Larry Tunsil, he keeps signing these 3-year deals. This is the second time. You don't normally quarterbacks, you don't get an opportunity to be the highest paid twice. Larry Tunsil is the highest paid tackle again. Guess what? In 3 years, he'll be back at the table.
Yep. Do it, Lamar. That makes sense.
I would do. I mean, if I would advise him, I would do it.
Yeah. But unless you're done with the Ravens. Is he just flat out, I'm disgusted with them, I cannot drag myself back in
I'm not going to be done with a team enough that I'm willing to take less money elsewhere just because my pride is getting in the way.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I think he could dredge it back up for the purple.
Well, if he can't dredge it up for $160 million, I don't know what to tell him.
That is true. Good point.
Next season will be a lot more fun with him playing. So as a football fan, a lot of folks hoping he works it out. All right, guys. Celtics Sixers tonight. Can Philly prove they're better than Boston?
No.
Can't wait to get your take on this one. That's coming up next here on Undisputed.